But you know what I really love is high octane battles, the spirit gun, everything possible. I'm talking about shonen. And we always have the conversations of what is the best shonen out there. We talk about stuff like Yu Yu Hakusho, Demon Slayer. We talk
Dragon
about
Ball Z, like,
what's that? What's
come
the anime,
on.
Malcolm? Valkyrie Overdrive. No, not Dragon Ball Z.
Valkyrie
Valkyrie
Overdrive is
Overdrive. We
crazy,
talk
bro.
about a
I
lot
never
of.
watched that show. Talk to Malcolm.
We talk a lot of battle shonen here.
I mean,
Throwing
Malcolm,
me
I
under
didn't
the
watch
bus
it.
is
You did.
insane.
but
Did you finish it?
what? What we can admit here.
Did
Wait,
you
did you finish
finish
it?
the
We can
show?
continue. We can continue talking
Okay,
about
okay.
battle shonens.
Yes, battle shonens. And one thing we can all agree on is that a lot of the older animes influence a lot of the current gen ones. And I thought it was a good idea. Well, really, Jason thought it was a good idea to sit there and talk about the influences that Yu Yu Hakusho, Demon Slayer, all of them, including Hunter x Hunter, about what influenced the past shonen genres and what did these shows specifically capture that you see in these current and future shonen tropes
I
today.
I
So,
I
Jason,
wanted to
what
like
did you have to
hem
say?
it down so we're not like talking forever about it, but I specifically wanted to talk about Togashi's work, Hunter x Hunter,
That makes
and Yu Yu
sense.
Hakusho, because
Okay,
honestly, upon rewatching it a couple months ago,
makes sense.
first of all, those shows are gas. I don't care what you say. Yusuke Urameshi is still top 5 shonen MCs of all time, uncontested. He might not be number one depending on your taste, but he has to be in top 5.
Top three.
There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Um,
Yeah,
the show's really interesting.
yeah.
Um, if you don't know about Yu Yu Hakusho, watch Yu Yu Hakusho. I don't know where you've been. This show is older than some of y'all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Malcolm.
I don't know how old you are. Fire
Literally.
opening.
Fire theme song. Fire opening.
Both
Yeah, I mean,
Togashi
just
shows
listen
are
to the
so
opening
good,
and
they
you'll be
never
hooked.
changed the opening.
Listen to the opening.
Same opening, start to finish.
They
Yeah,
didn't need to. They didn't need to.
and it has
It is.
it's fire in English
And
and,
then
in Japanese.
Hunter x Hunter
How's that possible?
with
Dang.
Departure. Heard that joke like 150 times in a row, and it's like, it's kind of gas. There's a reason why they use this joint.
Yeah.
And I think both shows are just awesome.
It works.
Me and James, all three of us wanted to do like binge watch the show and review it together. How far did you get, Malcolm? No, you got reasonably far.
I
Didn't you?
struggled. And far enough, reasonably,
Something like
not compared. Isn't there like 140 episodes?
How far did you
Yeah,
get?
something
Yeah,
like that,
I would
yeah.
not call it a reasonably. I got
Where'd you get to?
Hey
a
man, that's
sixth of the
progress
way
for
there.
Malcolm.
My
So, like,
math
what,
is
20?
correct. 20. That is.
That
Anyone who
is
doesn't know me, that is
progress.
progress.
That's a lot.
I've
I'm
been
not gonna argue
struggling
with
to
a good
watch.
thing. Thank you,
things.
Malcolm.
20 episodes of a TV show,
Yeah, man.
I
So
and I will continue to watch it at my own very, very slow pace.
yeah,
One episode
I
a
put it
year.
on, and I wasn't expecting it to like. I was expecting it to be a good rewatch. I wasn't expecting it to be an amazing rewatch, and it was that. Yu Yu Hakusho
It's really
was
good.
fresh. I
Really
think
holds up.
just like in the ways that you like old shonen, we like it when they explain powers. We like when they have one-on-one battles. We like when they have these little speeches. But then we also have like these really fun, like interesting characters. Even the ones that are a little bit annoying, like Kuwabara, are end up just being really good characters. Caught myself tearing up a couple times watching it, especially during the tournament arc. Honestly, I was tearing up the first episode.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna throw this in there real quick. I think one of the best moments. I be walking outside or I'll be working. I'll be thinking about it in my head from time to time. There's not a lot of animes that you'll get me like thinking about certain like scenes and sequences that like are very like masculine and make you be like, man, as a man, I'm like, I get it and I respect it. And it's the scene in the tournament arc when Yusuke and the big
Segura?
buff dude, I want to remember his name. I forgot his name already. But Tagora, yeah. And it's between them two. And they're like, you know what? We're gonna
That
throw this
not
knife
the
on the
girl. That was
ground.
the other guy. That was the
Sorry,
other
Malcolm.
guy.
I don't know if this is spoiling for
It
you.
was the guy with
No,
the mohawk.
I muted y'all.
All right.
I'm avoiding all
It
this.
was the guy with the mohawk. It
Wait, say
wasn't
it again, Jason.
Toguro. Toguro was the
keep
final
talking.
boss.
I cannot hear you.
It was the
I am
guy who
avoiding
was
all
with
this.
the five shinobi.
Are you sure it wasn't? Was
Dog,
it the
it's in
Mohawk
the
dude? Or are you
opening theme
positive?
song.
I feel like it was Tagoro.
That fight was so
Oh, you
gangster.
might
They
be right.
put it in
Okay.
the theme
Wait.
song animation, a whole 2 arcs before it ever happened.
Wait, so when they threw the knife on the ground and they're like, "We're not leaving out of this spot. We're gonna
Mhm.
duke it out." Because I'm like, if that's the case, how did I
Best
forget that
tournament,
was really? Hold on.
Hakusho.
I gotta look. Tagoro, yeah.
Hold on. This is the most randomest thing I think I've ever said in my life. James, your lips are very easy to read.
That almost sounds like a pause. Yeah, his name is Chu.
I know.
His name's Chu. He's from Team Ryoka.
But like, because
Chew.
I'm looking back and forth between you two, and I'm like reading Jason's lips. I can't read anything he's saying. And then James, you just speak so like easily.
Because I like
readable.
pronounce
I
my
talk
words
fast
like
and
fully.
mumble, so
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Yeah.
enunciate
I-
very well.
I'll try to enunciate
Yes.
better.
Yeah, thank you.
Be a James, don't
Wait,
be a
so-
James.
So his name's Chu.
Which
and
one was
he's
it,
part
Jason?
of Team Roku Yukai of the Dark Tournament. It was Chu. It wasn't.
Oh, you're
it wasn't
right.
Toguro. Toguro was the final boss.
You're right.
But essentially, Yusuke was out of power. Chu was out of power, and it was like, you know what?
How'd I
You know how we
forget
should
that?
settle this? Let's put 2 knives down on the arena floor. Take our shoes off, and everyone, and you stance up
Yeah.
like within like fighting range. You put one heel right up against the knife on either side, and the other foot like standing. So essentially, you have to support your heel, and every time you get punched, if you even
Yeah.
fall back even a little bit, your heel goes into the knife and gets cut up a little bit. And essentially, you can't move, and the person to either drop out or die loses.
Yeah.
And so essentially, they just slug it out back and forth
Yeah.
while their like foot is just being destroyed by this knife. They're like both already like in bad shape at the start of this little duking it out, and Yusuke wins, and it is so good. No matter how many times
That's-
you watch it, it is so good. Some of the manliest stuff you're gonna see in anime.
That's what I mean. I feel like I can have my girl sit there and watch it with me, and I hope she will understand that like this is what like this
Yeah.
is an honor fight. Like we are
Facts.
fighting for principle here. Like we're fighting each other on principle, and that's it. And
That's
I, as
10
a
toes
man, I'm
down
like I
behavior,
stand
bro.
on that. I
It
love
was
it.
10 toes down
Keep it.
behavior, and Yu
Literally.
Hakusho.
Respect.
Yusuke Urameshi was the most stand on 10 toes main character ever. Period. Even more than Naruto. Even more than
Yep.
Naruto. Although I can definitely and
But yeah,
we're gonna
that's
get
my
into it
thoughts
later.
on
'Cause
that.
I do think Yusuke Urameshi is a very soft archetype for Naruto's character. Personality wise, personality only.
Oh, I agree, 100%.
Personality and spunk only. Although
Yeah.
some very big differences, I think Yusuke is a way better character in a lot of areas. Naruto's the goat though. Let's put some respect on Naruto. But yeah, essentially, we watched Yu Yu Hakusho. There's the first arc, Genkai. What I was saying, the beginning of the series, when he was being like, some kid was getting bullied, and he stands up for the kid, and then gets blamed by the teacher for the kid getting bullied,
Mhm.
and then he doesn't even stand up for himself. He's just like, I'm already used to this. I'm already used to you guys like lying on me.
Yeah, that's my type of like
Like,
my type
and
of
so they
main
established this fact that
character.
nobody believes in
respect
Yusuke.
that.
Even his mom was just like, I don't even care if you go to school anymore, because like his mom was kind of like, she was outside, you know what I mean? And
She was outside doing her
essentially,
stuff.
only person who really believes in him is Kuwabara, who just enjoys fighting him and I guess kind of sees like strength or something in him, and then Keiko. And then there's like the random people who he helps. Essentially, he's going home after school is one day. This kid's crossing the street. The kid drops the soccer ball in the middle of the street, and Yusuke leaps into the street to push him out of the way. saves the kid, is looking around, is like, oh, thank God you're safe. And then he
Yep.
realizes he's floating, and then he looks over, and then he sees his dead body there. And then the witch Botan, who's essentially I guess a soul reaper, for all intents and purposes, comes to collect the soul, and she's like, I'm not gonna lie. Not only were we not
Soul
expecting you to
spirit,
die
yeah.
today, we weren't expecting you to be a good person. We thought you were gonna go to hell, like straight up. From everything that we've seen on the outside, which just goes to show how like problematic the way that they judge souls is in this universe.
Yeah.
Um, that being said, they were like, because of
Yeah.
that, we want to like give you another shot. And he was like, I'm not even sure if it's worth it because I didn't have anything to live for anyway. Nobody cared about me. And then he's going around during the day and he's seeing how other people are responding to his death. Like his mom is like beside herself in grief. Keiko's crying. I'm sitting there crying. The kid who he saved and the mom showed up to the funeral. Some of the kids who like didn't like Yusuke at school were bad mouthing him, saying this is what he gets and blah blah blah. Cool Bar overheard it and started fighting them. He was like, "Hey man, like y'all better not say that." He beat them up and then started crying. And he was like, mm-hmm.
I want to interrupt this to make a comment on this moment. James, I don't. You may or may not have been chronically online enough to see this, but the memes about Joe Biden and Donald Trump with this scene have been absolutely hilarious because they're saying Donald Trump is Kurabara when Joe Biden dropped out of the race and they want Donald Trump wanted him to come back. Like, because it was just people, if they know, they know.
I
It
can
was
see what you're
hilarious.
talking about.
I know the scene you're talking
Kurobara was
about. I know the
just
scene
like,
you're talking about.
why'd you go?
Yeah.
I wasn't done fighting
Yeah.
you. Like, wasn't supposed to end.
Yeah,
like
I wasn't
this.
done. Yes,
And
that's what
essentially,
they're saying.
right. And so that,
Yeah.
I've never seen that meme, but that's
Yeah.
hilarious. That's what happens, and then essentially a bunch of different stuff happens, and I can't remember it perfectly. Can you remember what happened? How he got back into his body? There was something that someone had to do for him to get back into his body. Keiko had a huge part in it because someone tried
Keiko,
to
didn't
like
Keiko have to do something?
where he was standing on fire. Yeah, his body
The
almost burned up
house.
alive in there.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
says
Yeah,
here
I don't
that
remember.
it was thanks
That's
to
bad.
Pooh.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, can you guys hear me? Yeah, you guys can hear me. Yeah, so I just googled it. It said, gosh, what was it?
That's
Didn't he have to retrieve the 3 artifacts?
Yeah, no. How did he come back to life? How did he come back to life?
Why am I not remember this? He had to do something.
He returns to life after sacrificing himself. His resurrection is. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Keiko kisses his body.
Essentially, he was trying to communicate to Keiko while he was sleeping because people who are asleep can hear souls better than people who are awake. And so when she passed up, when she like went to sleep, she was like, "Keiko, you gotta like help me out here," and blah blah blah. He says so. His resurrection was orchestrated by Koenma, who offers him a chance
she just
to return
did it
as a
before
spirit
midnight.
detective. And he needs to receive a life force transfusion from someone in the living world who cares about him, and it ends up being a kiss from Keiko. So essentially,
yep, that's what it was. It was like, yeah, it was like before midnight. She had to run to the hospital and kiss him just in time, and she did, and he came back to life. That's right. That's right. Man, but you know what's so good about Yu Yu Hakusho I love is that like they always Togashi does this even with Hunter x Hunter, but like he does a good job of, because sometimes when you watch like these sci-fi or fantasy shows that are like with these type of concepts of dealing going to like the spirit world and stuff like that, they do like a lot of hand wavy explanations on how things are possible and everything. But what Togashi does really well in both of his shows is that it's plausible based on his world's like logic, basically. Like I can follow it. He takes the time to plant the seeds to show you how this is even possible for him to get back to his body and how he can become like well, I won't spoil this for Malcolm, but there's something else that happens to Yusuke that happens later on the show where it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense about him and all the other stuff about him and his backstory. So I give props to Togashi.
I think Togashi's on par with
Oda
in terms of world building,
but
in terms of like explaining how systems.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And I would agree that.
Oh yeah.
although I think Oda's just slightly better at character writing in terms of like larger, broader cast, I still think the main cast of Yu Hakusho was written fantastically, and I think Togashi was willing to go a lot darker into the psychology of the characters. Um, and so it was like, it wasn't like, oh, this character has their arc and then they're static, and then this character has their arc and they're static, which a lot of shonen do, which is really frustrating. I think from like a when you get used to seinen story writing, where like the development is just ongoing in the same way that in real life you're just not going to stop growing, you're not going to stop changing, your world view is always a tiny bit plastic, you know what I mean? um, Even for the most rigid of people. um, and I think Togashi does an excellent job with that in Yu Yu Hakusho.
I agree. He does a really good job of these supporting characters. Like he makes it really good where like per arc you're introduced to a different supporting cast, different characters, but even with the small time that you have with them, you can immediately get into your head of who these people are, whether they're friend, foe, or friend to or foe to friend. I mean, and I guess I would say Oda does a really good job in terms of like if you want to learn about a culture, a group of people, Oda's really good at
Facts.
getting that to you in a digestible way. But I think Tagashi is really good at the fact of like, hey, I need you to care about this character within like five
Not even,
chapters because
not
a
even
lot of
five
stuff's gonna
chapters.
happen in this arc. And he pinpoints not even you're right, even less. Like he really knows how to pinpoint the trait that you want. Like for example, the one thing I really do like the arc where remind me, Jason. It was the assassin group or the group of like very strong people. Like you had the doctor, you
That
had the
was
sniper, you had all these people,
right at the
right?
very, this is after the
Um,
dark tournament. There was the spirit detective. Well,
yes, yeah,
you
and
can
they're on the hunt for
say this, and what I want to do after is I want to just do like, say the arcs in order and then talk about our criticisms. But the arc you're talking about is
yeah.
the second spirit detective arc with what's his name? It started with an S.
I know what you're talking about.
Yu Hakusho. Sensu.
Who the
Sensui.
artifacts of Sensu
Sensui was
Sensui.
a
That's
dog,
who.
bro.
Oh my
That
gosh,
was a good
Sensui.
villain. That was a
Yo,
damn good villain.
yo.
Aizen
Okay,
ain't got nothing on him, and I love Aizen as a villain.
that's a good villain right there. Really? Wait, Malcolm, do you still have us muted?
It's funny he could read
Oh,
your
he
lips
does.
well
Oh, okay.
enough to
All
know
right, go
that
ahead,
you
Jason. Go ahead.
asked him
Continue talking.
whether or not you're still muted. Damn. You're so loud he can hear you.
Yeah. He has no idea what's going on right now. He has no idea what's going on. He's just like, wow. What?
You
Yeah,
were
go
gonna
ahead,
say something
Jason.
about Sensui. You were gonna say something about
Yeah,
that
no,
arc.
wasn't it? No, you was gonna say something about Swinsweet, but I was just saying the fact that like I thought the oh yeah, oh yeah, now I remember. Yeah, you when you get the juice to him, you are immediately gravitated by just his philosophy and his demeanor. I'm like, I know exactly who this guy is, and I'm already terrified.
Let alone what they
And
did
I
later
don't
on.
need anything else.
All right, so let's just do the fastest bullet train summary of the show.
Yeah.
Show starts. Yusuke Urameshi becomes a spirit detective after he comes back. In the manga, there's a bunch of random cases that he solves. In anime, not so much. There's one case that's where he meets Yuko Kurama, and that's also where he meets Hiei,
Yep.
the demon with the third eye. Essentially, he meets them. There's some gangs. They're stealing some
Yep.
spirit items. Essentially, Yusuke and his rough and tough, like raw personality, kind of earns their respect, even if he doesn't earn their like camaraderie. With Yoka Kurama, he decided to use the tool to potentially
Yeah.
risk his own life to make sure that Yuko's mom didn't die, earns his respect, and then
Yeah.
Hiei kind of disrespected the fact that Yusuke got that dog in him for real. Fast forward, um, they both
Yeah.
get hired by Koenma later, even though they're both demons, sort of. Koenma is like kind of like a demon in a human body. Hiei is just a straight up
Yeah.
demon in the story. Then there's the
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the castle arc where they went to the castle. Essentially, there's a bunch of bugs spilling out from the demon world, spilling into the human world, infecting a bunch of people, turning them into zombie hordes. Keiko and Botan are holding them off in the world of living. They have a little arc. They fight their way up the castle, beat the four saints, the four saint beasts. Then they defeat them through
Yep.
ingenuity and Yusuke's raw potential and blah blah blah. And then he like saw Keiko about to die because the other dude was being sadistic. He was like, "Oh, you like this girl? Let's put her on the widescreen so you can see her get killed by zombies." And he was like, "You're not gonna do that." And then he beat him up. He like put his hands in some shoes and started fighting him with shoes on his hands. And then when he wasn't paying attention,
Yep.
he came out and just shot him with a spirit
Start
gun. So he was
boxing.
charging it up in the shoe and he wasn't ready for it. It was kind of dope. It was like a lot of back and forth though, but that's just shonen stuff. Fast forward
Yeah, it was.
again, they go on a random case, they solve it,
Yeah, it
they
was.
meet the Tagoro brothers, they beat them, but they fake their death. Then Tagoro realized that Yusuke had some potential. He invited him to the Dark Tournament and said, "Hey, if you say no to this, I'm going to kill everyone you know and love immediately." And then they start the training arc. Dark Tournament happens. All the characters get a lot of character development. We see Hiei getting stronger, Kurama getting stronger, Kuwabara getting a lot stronger. He has a spirit sword, by the way. Spirit powers, cool. Fast forward past that,
Yep.
end of the tournament arc. Yusuke is one of the people who Yusuke has a teacher, Genkai. She's the one who taught him how to use all of his powers. After he got brought back to life, he was in a tournament, barely managed to
Yep.
win. Then Genkai had chose him as her successor, started teaching him. Hold that thought. Fast forward, there's a young person who joins them for the Dark Tournament arc because they needed a fifth person for their team. Nobody knows who it is. Turns out it was Genkai. When she's using her powers, she looks young again, like when she did when she was at the peak of her power, like when she was like 20s or whatever. And she's fighting. Further into the arc, she's like, "All right, like you're not going to win this next fight unless you have this. Now it's time for the final part of my training. I taught you everything I know. Here's all of my power." So she's been storing up all of this spiritual power for a while. She takes it out of her body. It's in an orb, and he was like, "If you take this, you will literally want to die 12 times over because of how much this is gonna hurt you." He's like, "No, I'm gonna do it because I'm not gonna watch people like die." And he's like, "You know that after you do this, I'm gonna die." And he was like, "What? Are you serious?" And then like he went around a lot of character development. He cried, and he finally came to the realization. He was just like, "I'm not okay with doing this because it's gonna kill you. I'm just gonna have to figure out some kind of way to defeat Kuro without this power." And she's like, "All right, you pass. I'm not gonna give my power to someone who's okay with killing me to get stronger." She she gives him the power. She doesn't have to die. She's just not strong anymore. She gives him her
There's
power.
a test.
For 3 days, he's in a cave just dying. Like his whole body's being torn apart. It's like you put like
Going through agony.
a sun inside of a person. It was just like too much power, and his body could barely hold it, and it kept breaking and bleeding. And he was like, blood was coming out of his arms and his face, and his whole body was bright red, and it was like he was just hitting his head against the wall, the cave wall, just to not like, because it was just so much pain. Past that, he almost died from the pain, and then he has this little spirit egg that has a spirit creature. This ugly Toys R Us looking thing comes out of it. That's Pooh. He's cute, I guess. I don't know. They're trying to get merchandise. He shows up. Pooh's life is linked to Yusuke, so if Yusuke dies, Pooh dies. Yusuke sees Pooh, who makes it over to where Yusuke is, and then Yusuke sees Pooh about to die because he's about to give up and just die because of how much of this power that's in him is just too much for him, and he barely holds on, actually able to like hold the power. And then after that, he's like 10 times stronger. Fast forward, now it's time for the final arc. He fights Tagoro. Tagoro fake kills Kuwabara. Kuwabara knows this, and that way it unlocks all of Yusuke's hidden potential because he's always suppressing his emotions. Bam. Peak shonen. It's just gas. A lot of other stuff happens. We're not going to get into it. Fast forward. There's the second Spirit Detective arc. There's a Spirit Detective that was a Spirit Detective before Yusuke. His name's Shisui. He was the GOAT. He was way more talented. He was way more talented than Yusuke. Way more aptitude. All of this stuff. But he decided, like, he saw the dark tapes, which is pretty much a tape containing all the worst, most despicable, evil stuff the human race has ever done. And after that, it broke his mind. And then after that, he was like, I can't fight for humanity. Humanity's
tapes.
Like curtains, bro. They're trash. We're done. He decides that he wants to destroy the barrier between the living world and the demon world so that A-class and S-class demons can spill over and just destroy the world as we know it. Hence the next arc. James, take over.
Yeah. The next arc was the Three Kings arc, basically,
No,
and
you're not done the
essentially,
actual arc with Shisui. You didn't explain
the
what
Three
happened during
Kings
that arc.
was, if I remember,
No,
isn't it the
no, no.
same
I
arc the
got
Chapter
halfway
Black
through it. I
Saga?
said
Isn't that
just
the
take
same
over.
thing, or no? Oh, got you. All right, so what happens basically is that you have Sensui, who was a former detective who gone rogue, challenges the notions of like good and evil. He forces Yusuke and his allies to pretty much like question their own beliefs and the very fabric of their existence. So they try to chase down Sensui, and they go and to this like little dungeon essentially like that. And Yusuke, well, Kuwabara, Hiei, and
Miko
uh,
Kurama.
the fox. I keep forgetting his name, but yeah. They're like stationed away, put away by one of Sensui's minions, basically, leaving Yusuke and Sensui to have a one-on-one fight to determine whose ideology is better, right? And so they go neck and neck, they go blow for blow, and Sensui is beating the crap out of Yusuke, like tearing him from limb to limb, showing him that, like, yeah, I'm more talented, I'm stronger, I'm all these things that you're not, basically. And Yusuke essentially, well, I should throw this little add-on in here too. Sensei he generates a lot of power and fires it at Yusuke, causing Yusuke to actually
Yeah, he
perish, to
dies.
die, if I remember this part correctly. Is this the part where, yeah, he dies? Is this the part where um,
Go in.
the baby pacified Koenma, right? Yeah, Koenma. So during this time, Koenma is feeling the pressure of all of the of humanity pretty much being destroyed because it feels like Yusuke may actually lose this battle with Sensui. So Ken Koenma makes the sacrifice as the leader of the spirit
His
world, or
father,
like the
King
judge,
Enma.
the king essentially. King Yama.
You're
I
good.
am sorry. I'm over here trying to remember all this stuff. So he goes down to the dungeon to save Yusuke because Yusuke is his spirit detective. If Yusuke goes down, who's going to protect humanity, right? So Koenma goes down there. He faces Sensui. He sees that Yusuke has perished, and pretty much is now going to be a one-on-one fight with Sensui and Koenma until
Well, you didn't
something
explain what
crazy
Koenma did with the
happens.
pacifier.
A big bulge of light comes.
He was storing thousands of years
Oh
worth of
yeah,
energy
what do you do with the
into
pacifier?
this thing, and then he was going to use it for this one
That's
attack
right,
that
for
was
this
going to
one
like seal
attack.
the deal,
Right.
and he misses.
Yes.
And he's like,
Yes.
"Yeah, we're cooked."
And he misses because that's Quinlo. Yeah, we're done. Everything's perished. Everything's lost. What are we going to do now? Until Togashi is like, "Hey, y'all remember this is a battle shonen, so you know what that means? Transformation time." So you see this big bulge of light coming from Yusuke. He
Yep.
levitates, if I remember, like his body who that passed on levitates, and then this big flash of light happens, and next thing you know, Yusuke's back, but he looks a little different. He looks actually hairy. You know, like he hasn't trimmed, shave, or nothing. You know,
Tattoos on his face, like
he needs to take a
markings and
shower.
stuff.
So he's tattoos on his face, look crazy, and he has all these spiky hair. Basically, he doesn't look. He has like the physique of Yusuke, but like he also looks like different. In my opinion, in terms of all the shonen transformations, Yusuke is the one that I like the least, me personally. Um, but it is what it is. So anyway, Yusuke, all powerful, goes at the Sensei, and they fight, and it's obvious to everybody that whatever happened to Yusuke, keep going because obviously he's winning, he's destroying Sensei, and things are going and going and going. And then this is when things a little get fuzzy for me, but what I do recall happening is that they're fighting. Sensei realizes that he is about to lose against Yusuke. So he pulls out like what an
Well,
ultimate
you
move,
missed one
right?
thing. So for
Basically,
one,
like a
we
final
totally
move.
glossed over the fact that Shinsui, peak villain material over here, to deal with the level of what he was willing to do to destroy humanity, he developed 5 different personalities that took over different stuff. And then
That's
essentially
right,
his
five
real
different
personality
personalities.
came out for this fight
Yeah,
because it was just demanding that of him. I guess he
yeah,
started healing during this fight. He did
yeah.
some special move. Then I don't know what happened either. Totally. because after that they ended up in the demon world. Essentially, he was like he had already succeeded by
I
cutting open the gate,
remember.
the
Go ahead.
barrier.
He did. He did. Then what happened was that his ultimate attack brought in more demons through the portal coming
Something
to
like that.
humanity,
Or you're
like in the
thinking of the
dungeon,
demon
or is that
that was
not
his
what happened?
friend that had the others trapped in
That's
that
what I
separate
believe.
dimension. But
That's
either
probably
way,
what it was too. To be honest,
they were all trying
You're
to
right
get
about
out of that
Yeah.
dimension. Kuwabara unlocks his special ability, cuts through the
Yeah.
dimension, but also ends up cutting through to the demon world. They all end up going there because if they have this fight, they need to make it there.
Yep.
Escalates further. Yusuke beats the brakes off this guy halfway
Yeah.
through the fight because mind you, he's possessed. It's kind of like when Ichigo had his spoiler alert, Aranka arc, Ichigo. And then he gains
Yeah.
control of himself momentarily, and he was like, "Nah, man, I don't like that. I don't want to win like that. It wasn't even me fighting. It was some ancestor of mine." Because essentially, what happened was Yusuke died, but the thing was, his
He was
body was
pissed.
so much stronger than it was before when he first died that he actually had the ability to activate the demon powers resided in him because he was a long lost descendant of the mausoleum, one of the three king demons. So the arcs actually overlap quite a bit. Then Yusuke like
Yeah.
turns the thing off. They do an honorable battle, and then like after that, I think Shisui like relents, but then ends up dying because he apparently didn't have that much longer left to live anyway because he had some kind of terminal
Yeah.
illness. Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
then
He was
like
gonna
Yusuke's
die.
deciding whether or not he's gonna stay
Yeah.
or go. He decides to come
Yeah.
back to the regular world of living, but then he was depressed.
Human. World, right?
Hmm?
He decides to go. Yeah. Yeah. He was sad and depressed because he was like kind of. Yeah. He was sad and depressed in the Three Kings arc because he was trying to figure out exactly what his purpose is now. Like the world's at peace, no one's here. Like what should he do now? Like should he focus on
Yep.
college? Like go to like school? Like what is
So he decides to
what's
go
his goal
to
here
the
now?
Demon World for 3 years to train.
Yeah, and that's
They recruit him.
yep. Well, yeah, also too like people,
Clan.
yeah, people from his ancestors' clan come to the human world and be like, hey, we kind of need you because our leader decides to not actually eat humans, even though that's unheard of for demons. So we want to. So they did like a trial run to talk to Yusuke, test and see if he's capable to come to the demon world and participate. They did their trials. Yusuke passed, and so they take Yusuke to the demon world to finally meet the king, and I guess essentially like help with the upcoming war that's going to happen once his
Yeah.
ancestor
And so
dies from the
essentially,
throne.
what they end up doing is
So yeah,
Yoko Kurama, before he was the redhead guy, he was a white fox. He had an ally who ended up becoming one of the three kings, and he also has an ally who was one of the three kings. And they all, in their respective camps, end up going to one of the three kings and are underneath them. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, hey, I'm friends with you guys, but now we're kind of in like this three-way war that's about to happen. And then essentially, Yusuke goes above and beyond everyone's expectation to say, you know what, instead of that, let's do a tournament with no killings allowed, but you fight, and every 2 years or 3 years or whatever, you fight, and the strongest demon wins. And whoever the strongest demon is, or whoever just happens to win this like bracket style tournament, ends up being the leader of Demon World for that time being. So there's no more need for all this fighting and killing and all that good stuff. Demon World can operate kind of on some like Roman like console type time where it's kind of like, yeah, you're not like it's not a democracy, but it's more of like a battle royale, like, you know,
yeah,
yield for 2 years when someone else is the boss type situation. Yeah, and then they do this whole tournament.
democracy.
Yusuke doesn't win because Togashi is not basic when he writes stories. Um,
Yes, yes, that's the best
he
part
goes
about it is
back and
that
then marries Keiko,
Yusuke didn't win.
after the tournament's happening.
Yeah, presumably, and they
Criticism.
left happily
I want
ever
to hear
after.
it.
Yeah. Honestly, here's what I would say. Crap. I really should have wrote this down because I remember as soon as I was done watching, I called you on the phone. I was
Yeah,
like,
you
I had
definitely did.
some issues. I think I
Is
wanted to
Malcolm
say.
allowed to unmute?
Now I forgot them. I should have wrote these things down. Dang it. Yeah,
Unmute.
Malcolm. There you go. Unmute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
You hear
did
us
the
now?
whole synopsis of the entire show.
Cool. So we just finished talking about it.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but you
yeah, that was a lot.
decided to
Yeah, it was a
mute
lot. It was a
yourself.
lot.
I'm not
You've
mad.
got
I'm
to
not mad.
Watch
honestly
your
listen to our
animes,
podcast later.
Malcolm.
Pay for my medications.
I feel that.
Listen to the pod later. Get a
I
summary.
feel that.
It's the most bare bones
Yeah, there you go.
summary in
Get a
the
summary.
universe.
But Jason, yeah, what do you think
Off the
about what
top
was
of my
your
head, I think my
critiques
biggest
about the show?
critique was
Anime.
Obviously I think everyone kind of believed like Shisui was one of the best villains. They didn't lead up. They didn't like. And I think in the same way
Easily.
with Bleach. Spoiler alert. After the Aizen arc was done, the Fullbring arc, which is a great arc by the way, felt like a cop out because you thought the show was about to be finished, but it wasn't. There was more. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as with Bleach, but it did leave some people kind of thinking like, well, what's next or what is this about? And then it was pretty interesting, but then it just turned into this like slowly. You could tell Togashi was getting really depressed when he was writing this point of the story because the story started to get a little bit more mellow and psychological, which I think is part of its strength, especially when you get into the psychology of Hiei and like his backstory and Kurama and his backstory and
Yep.
Yusuke trying to figure out
Very
what the point of
sad.
his life is now that he's like he doesn't know how to not have conflict and he's like dealing with that as a character and that's like all of these things are like awesome. This is super surface
Yeah.
level, but that demon transformation that he had, it was just not that cool, bro. Dude, because like you got to think about what's happening
Wasn't
at the
it?
same time as this came out. You
Wasn't it
had
for
like
you?
Goku going Super Saiyan, and then Yusuke just got hairy with some tattoos. It's just like not the same level. And Super Saiyan thing was like
Yeah.
they like
It's
precursor
not.
to that. They were like alluding to that for a long time. Where they weren't alluding to I guess they might not have been, but it didn't
Yeah.
seem like they were alluding to any of that for Yusuke. So I remember you saying that felt a little bit more like a cop out, and I think I would love to give Togashi an out, but it did feel like could have been better forecasted.
Yeah,
Um,
I think so. I can see that. I oh, I went on the Yu Yu Hakusho's Reddit and I wanted to see everyone's
which one?
unpopular opinions about Yu Yu Hakusho, and I found some interesting ones. So some people here, a common thing that I see people say is that they wanted Yusuke to be a detective more, saying the show would have benefited from a little more slice of life and some lower stakes shenanigans between the
I agree.
arcs, basically.
I definitely
So
agree
the
with that.
transitional period.
I think that's why I like One Piece so much because they have those little shenanigans between the
You think
larger
so?
arcs that really give the connective tissue between the crew members and actually makes stakes when someone's about to lose. It's not even about them winning or losing. You just want them cast to survive. Yu Yu Hakusho could have benefited from that, especially
Yeah.
in terms of like inter character and relationships.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I think someone said someone said Genkai unironically is a top tier waifu.
You talking about like Dark Tournament arc when she's like
I,
younger?
I I have no comment on that. This person clarifies saying the whole show from the Dark Tournament and the entire show. They say Granny can get it.
That
That
is
is an
crazy.
interesting comment, dude. I ain't gonna put your username out there, but
I
hey,
wouldn't say that.
hey, y'all
In
do
terms
your
of
thing.
cool
Y'all do your
characters,
thing.
Genkai's one of the coolest in anime. Don't get me wrong. She's like way cooler than Master Roshi.
Yeah,
I'll take.
yeah.
You know
Oh
that's
yeah,
a hot take. I think
I would
Master
say that. I don't
Roshi's
think
like
it's
the
a hot take.
OG,
I
like
think that's
old
fair.
person sensei.
Yeah, but like I feel like if you want to talk about who, I feel like you can talk about it. Genkai was, and I guess to be fair, Goku was like an alien and Master Roshi's a human, so I can understand why he wasn't that involved. But Genkai to me was like she was there every step of Yusuke's like career as a spirit detective. Like she was involved in him getting stronger actually. Whereas with Filter Master Roshi, after really Dragon Ball and maybe the early points of Dragon Ball Z, Master Roshi was there to teach Goku like with like how to train and become stronger. But after that, once Goku learned how to use the Kamehameha and turns freaking Super Saiyan, there
Dude,
wasn't
when
really anything
Master
Master Roshi
Roshi
can do
went
besides
off
just
to
being a pervert,
after the first
basically.
World Tournament arc, Master Roshi admitted to himself that he can't teach Goku anything else, which is why the next arc he told him to go wander around and learn from the environment, and he did, and still got stronger.
Yeah,
And then after that, you also
go
got
on
to keep in
adventures.
mind that he went to train with Kami and Popo after he killed Demon King Piccolo.
Yeah. Because at that point, like, what else can can a human master teach Goku at that point? Yeah, it makes sense to go to
Yes, I mean,
Kami and
there's
Piccolo and
that.
stuff
So
like that.
Genkai was actually
You
probably the
know,
most legit
so
old
um,
person sensei, unless you can think of something else, Malcolm. I think only other one who's on par with Genkai in terms of like sensei ship is probably Jiraiya with Naruto, because Jiraiya was a heavyweight, like
yeah,
he was a legit ninja all the way up until the when he stopped breathing, um, you know,
yeah.
and when Naruto surpassed him, it was super
It
worth
says,
it.
go ahead. Yeah, yeah. I saw somebody here. This is the last one I want to throw in because I think this was actually pretty interesting. This is about the last arc of this series. Actually, I see a lot of people actually in this thread saying that the three great kings arc was actually the not the best arc, but like it was a good ending arc, which is fair. When I watched it, I knew a lot of people online were like saying this is the weakest one. They should have ended after the chapter Black Saga and everything. But I'm like, after watching the whole series again as a whole, I'm like, I feel like the Three Kings arc narratively flowed well, but then also was like, it also ended well for Yusuke's character arc. Me personally. Um, but what this person said I found interesting is that they said, with how large and deep the demon world is, I feel like one more arc would make sense with these ancient creatures being stronger and to come out and start something. Like they really wish there was something else going on in this world,
So you think
this
they could
other
have
world that
gone
we didn't get a
deeper
chance to
into Demon
explore
World
that
politics?
maybe
Because
in
they did go
another
deep,
archetypes.
and it wasn't just like the politics. It was like
Yeah.
the rules of that world were so much colder. And
Oh yeah,
yeah,
and
that
then
was
I
just
feel like
awesome.
that could have been. Go ahead. Sorry. That could be a whole spinoff. It's like I don't want to say spinoff, but like if they really, really wanted to, they really could have showed adventures of Yusuke or of that situation in that realm, and to show like the demon world, the politics of that situation. I think that would have been uh, that probably would have been a little bit like Oda stuff, where it's like, hey, we have this whole like thing going on over here, so let's explore all of it for a whole arc. Where Togashi doesn't seem like he's someone who's interested in doing like a whole supporting cast that's like away from the main plot, basically, or the
Yeah,
main point, basically. So,
yeah.
oh well, yeah. So, with that said, Hunter x Hunter, we won't dive into it in depth. Everybody and their grandma who listens to like who watches anime or has or is knowledgeable of
Yeah.
anime shonens
People have been
knows about
shoving
Hunter x
Hunter x Hunter
Hunter.
down people's
So
throats
let's just overall
for
just talk about
years.
yeah, all the some
I
people go as
disagree
far
with
as
that
saying it's a
completely.
good
Would
beginner
you
anime, which I
recommend it?
disagree with, but regardless, um, yeah, would I recommend
Yeah,
it
yeah.
to only an
I told
anime
someone that
person?
recently, like I
That's
wouldn't
it.
recommend Hunter x
But
Hunter. Like,
yeah,
wait, why?
no,
It's an excellent
like
show, but it's not finished. I can't recommend an unfinished show to someone, except for One Piece,
yeah,
um, because One Piece is
yeah,
ongoing. Hunter x
yeah,
Hunter is
yeah, that's
not.
true.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Hunter x Hunter does not have a
Hiatus
consistent
King.
enough release
Yeah.
schedule for me to
So
recommend it.
unfortunately,
Not yet.
it don't. I mean, some
It is not consistent enough for me to recommend.
it don't. That's true. I would definitely say that there's a. That's true. So overall, what was your takeaway? And Malcolm, if you want to join in too, you can also join in this part of the conversation too. What are y'all's thoughts on the Hunter x Hunter series as a whole so far, from the anime perspective that we saw, the 1991 or the 2011
You can
one?
go first, Malcolm. I have my
But yeah,
thoughts.
I
yeah.
have no thoughts. I've never seen any of it.
How? No, you haven't seen any Hunter x Hunter, Malcolm.
James.
Wait,
I know
wait,
it
wait,
sounds
wait,
so
wait.
embarrassing. Jason's
No,
face
it's not
is
even
like
that. I'm
so.
just
I'm so
playing with
embarrassed by you.
my stuff.
I can understand. I can understand completely like You can't watch a lot of anime, especially new ones.
It
Get
was
that.
Naruto
But you mean
only,
tell me even when
man.
you was in college, like you was growing
Malcolm
up,
was on
like
that
Hunter x Hunter,
Naruto
you didn't
only
put
at
on?
that time.
Dang,
No, no,
he was a Naruto
no,
only dude.
no, no.
Just didn't
You know
find the
what?
time to
You
get into
played
it.
more video
Okay,
games than I
I just
watched more
didn't.
TV. I think it was just different hobbies.
I'm muting myself again.
Yeah.
There we go. There you go. You know how much video games, you know how much non-anime I've seen TV shows? I've seen a lot of random TV and movies.
I think it's just
Oh,
Like
really?
random stuff. Yes. Like you can
Have
name
you?
any Cartoon Network show from 2004 into 2010. I've seen it. I'm
So
talking about the most random, obscure TV shows.
so
You can
what
pull up a
you're
list
So
of
this cat
Cartoon
had
Network
cable,
TV shows,
and I had an
I've seen
internet
it.
connection, and that's
what
why
you're
I've seen
saying
all
to
these
me
anime,
is
and he didn't.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
basically, yeah. Basically, Malcolm is saying right here on air that he valued American content over Japanese content. Is what he's
In
saying.
the moment,
Honestly,
yeah. Now, no.
television broadly was just really, really, really good. I think until like
What?
our world started
Oh
getting
yeah,
super like algorithmic, like all the algorithms kind of like split us up. I think we were all watching the
segmented.
same stuff, so they had to make stuff good enough for lots of
Yeah.
different people. And so TV was just it was on, bro, like banger after banger, like
Mm,
everything from like Ben 10,
You know how
all
many
the
times I've
Avatar,
seen Avatar?
that's true.
Do
Ben
you know how
10,
many times I've
Teen
seen Avatar,
Titans,
James?
you know,
Probably like
Justice
25
League
times.
animated series, B-Task, S-Task,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
name it, bro. We were eating good.
Mm-hmm.
We were eating good. I'm not even talking about SpongeBob and all that stuff. Static
Yeah.
Shock,
And people like
Static Shock.
Steven,
Codename Kids Next
SpongeBob,
Door,
Stash
Yeah.
Shock, Adventure Time, Steven's
Billy and
Universe,
Mandy,
Conan
Mm-hmm.
Kids.
pretty much
Yeah, all
anything
the.
Cartoon
So pretty
Network
much, I guess
animated
with the
before
it's
2011.
it's the idea that
And then even then,
I guess that's what worked because when you're a kid, you're kind of like there were so many good concept shows back then that kind of kept you engaged because they all had their Courage the Cowardly Dog, Imaginary Friends. Everybody had
it was
something that was
out
like
there
so
and
engaging. You're
unique,
like,
but
yeah, I
just
gotta watch
it
this.
was
I've seen it all.
interesting. It
Yeah.
just grabbed your eye, and then it just told some simple stories and made you
Very
laugh a little
interesting.
bit. But we get it. It's fine. But what I will
Yeah.
say, just so we
Look
don't
at
get
Ben
too off
10.
track,
Ben, yeah, we get it.
this is the one thing that I really wanted to say. If there was no Hunter x Hunter
What's up?
or Yu Yu Hakusho, there would be no Naruto. Not even remotely close. There's so much of Naruto that I just see the DNA of in Hunter x Hunter. Kurapika. I'm telling you right now, Sasuke and Kurapika are the same character. Except Kurapika's family didn't get killed
Yeah.
by one of his family members. Sasuke's did.
Yeah.
They both have the red eyes when they're red eyes that make them stronger when their emotions are inflamed. They both have like edgy backgrounds. Their whole story arc is like I have to get revenge for what happened to my family, and that's why I'm getting stronger. But then they get pulled into these friendships, and now it's about friendship and revenge, and then it becomes bro. It's come on, bro, come on.
A conflict.
Then you got
Mm-hmm.
rock out, bro.
Like when people say like Hiei and Sasuke are like connected, I'm like, I don't think so. Besides the they can be, but if you want to say the best comparison is what Jason said from Hunter x
Kurapika.
Hunter.
It's they had Kurapika.
What's his
Say
name?
it. Say the
Yes.
name. Say
No,
the name, James.
Kurapika.
Kuwapika, right? Oh, see,
Hey
that's
man,
I'm not. Listen, y'all, I'm not good with names. I'm gonna say it right now. If you coming to me for names, that ain't me. But if you want to come to me for recommendations and
you gonna be like
characters, y'all got
You'll
Kurapika.
get the name wrong. But
Actually, I
he'll
know
tell
someone
you.
who calls
Yeah,
it Kurapika. As long as you're using
I'll
the
say the
letters
name.
and they're in order and you can phonics your
Who
way
calls
through
it
it, just
Kurapika?
rock out, bro. But don't add letters that ain't there, bro. That's just
I say the
like,
first letter.
that's not reading. The letters.
No, I go with the
You know
first
what I
letter.
mean? The people who call Naruto
No,
Naruto, that's
no.
fine because the
If it
letters
starts
are
with a
there.
K,
You
I'm
know,
saying it.
it's fine, bro.
No, it's not.
I'm not gonna be
No, it's
on
not.
cats for that, bro.
No, I will. Like. Well, to be fair, my girl says it, but I know she's just trolling me. But Naruto or Naruto
Tomato,
or
tomato,
manga or
After a
manga,
while.
it's like no. After a while, you're like, hey,
That-
look, if you watch it, it's whatever.
Yeah, so Kurapika.
But yeah.
So pretty much Sasuke is Kurapika with Hiei's design.
How you feel about that, Malcolm?
And
Yeah.
Naruto
Yeah.
is Yusuke down to the demon powers. He was shunned. He was neglected.
Down to the
People
demon
didn't like
powers.
him. He ended up having to prove himself. Except the difference between Naruto and Yusuke is, except Yusuke never
Fiery
actually wanted to
temperament.
prove himself wrong or redeem himself. That was only Naruto. Yusuke did not care. Yusuke just cared about who he cared about, and then did what he wanted to do during
Whatsoever.
the story. And then the story put him in these situations that pulled out the fact that he had good character underneath the tough exterior. Where Naruto's like, I want to be a Nin, I want to be the Hokage, blah blah blah. I want to be impressive, and I want to prove myself so people can respect me. And then at the same time, he just had no manners because everyone abandoned him after his parents died. You know what I mean? So
Why everybody gotta have a dark past, man? Parents gotta die. There's never like they're just alive. They're well. They take care of
I
you.
nah,
mean,
Fez.
Deku.
Yeah, yeah, but
We
he,
don't know
he
if
only has
he's
his
working
mom.
abroad as an
She's a
overseas
single mother.
manager.
Where's the father at?
Speaking of trash anime, I love that show. Best 12 episodes you're gonna get in a
Oh my
random
gosh,
music
here we
guy.
go.
Anyways,
Yes, yes, 100%. Yeah. So that's what I had to say about that. Hunter x Hunter, really good. Don't recommend it for any
yeah.
new beginners. But hold on, let me pause this for a second. All right, then. All right. So then at that point, we're going to wrap this podcast up with something I wanted to throw in there called James Book Corner. Now, I've been reading a lot recently, and that's thanks to my local libraries. They have all the books you can possibly find from manga, American comic books, literature, etc. They also have a digital service called Hoopla. So if you want to read on the go, like an ebook or on your phone or whatever, it's called Hoopla. If you have a library card, it is free. I am able to read Black Panther, X-Men, the newest comic books is out now. I'm able to read on Hoopla as well. There's a DC and Sonic
I
crossover
saw
right
that in the
now
comic book store
with
this
the
weekend.
Justice League and the Sonic characters. Yeah, yeah, they have Justice League and DC. Justice League. They have Sonic and the Justice League fighting against Doctor Eggman and Darkseid right now, and it's like the fourth issue right now, and it is so fun. You would think it's very goofy, but it is great. Okay, so basically, all I'm trying to say before I get into my book corner is if you want to read anything, go to your library. It is literally free to sign up. You do not need to pay a fee or anything at all. And they are modern, so don't worry about it, okay? So if you're wondering, hey, I'm an anime person. Or, hey, I love superhero media. Like, I watched a lot of the Batman animated series, or I watched a lot of the Marvel movies, DC movies, etc. And you're like, well, where can I go to kind of get like that type of itch that kind of gives me those hype moments, but those emotional beats that really like entice me? So I gave you guys a little variety. I have two comic books and one American book, basically. So the regular traditional book is called Red Rising. I've told Jason about this book multiple times because it is a dude book at heart. That does not mean women cannot read this book either. There are women on Book Talk that enjoy this book as well because its themes and the characters represents. But it's like that. It's the best way I can describe Red Rising is it's sci-fi dystopian uh, book that is like Attack on Titan and My Academia kind of mixed together with certain elements, but it's set on Mars. Okay, it follows this man named Darrow. He is a member of the oppressed Red caste. Okay, and he infiltrates the ruling golds to spark a revolution from within. Okay, this story is packed with rebellion, class warfare, strategy, and his journey is pretty much driven by personal loss that he gets, that he faces early on in the story, that gives him this like burning desire for justice. So if you're someone who loves like oppression fiction, like Hunger Games, or anything that deals with like the class being against you, and you feel a personal loss by the system, and you want to create change personally, this is a book that's really going to grab you by the neck and keep you
Are you
engaged
reading a
until
physical
the
copy or an
last
Audible?
page. All right. So, yeah,
Because it's on
Um,
Spotify as
this
well.
is Audible actually. So Red and my it's on Spotify as well. And let me tell you guys, the narrator for this is so good. At first, I was like,
Are
like
they
the
British?
accent to me. At first, I was like, I wonder if I'll be cool with this. But by the end of chapter, yeah, but it was like British. But by the end of chapter one, I'm like, yeah, you got me. I'm hooked, and I like his voice. So, and this is like a like 7 book series. It's the final book's coming out next summer, so you have plenty of time to get into it. Again, it's called Red Rising by Pierce Brown. The link will be in the description from the audio and video. Again, check it out, Red Rising. The other one is a comic book. This is an oldie. It's called Immortal Hulk. This is by Al Ewing. So Al Ewing, I'm not familiar with him at all, but I heard a lot of people talk about Hulk. I never read a Hulk comic book really in my life, but he is one. He's a great character that I like through like the movies and animated series. So I was like, let me pick up this like book that came out, I guess, like in the early 2010s. Man, this is a great Hulk. So this is a Hulk that you've never really seen him before. This is a supernatural horror series that kind of explores like what it means to be monster inside and out. If you are an anime person who enjoys Parasite and Tokyo Ghoul, this is
So it's like
basically that
Frankenstein,
mixed
Tokyo
together.
Ghoul
Okay.
story kind of beats
Um,
mixed in with the Hulk mythos.
yes, it is. Exactly, exactly. So it's basically the Hulk with like this unkillable force of vengeance. Okay, it dives deep into Bruce Banner's psyche, explores a lot of his identity crisis, morality, the nature of evil. It has horror elements and psychological um, depth that makes it stand out from the typical superhero flair. There is fight scenes obviously in it, but it is more so an examination of the human psyche of someone who can just any amount of anger can wreak havoc
Yeah.
on a city, and what does that do to a human being? So again, it's called Immortal Hulk. Link will be down in the description. It's already all out. It's like 5 volumes, but I'll put the link in the description for you. The last one is one that just came out 2 months ago that I'm reading. It's an indie. It's not Marvel or DC. It's by this independent comic book called Image Comics, and it's called Exquisite Corpses. And when I read this, I immediately was thinking about, oh, this is like the Purge, but on like steroids a little bit. It's like it was like the
Yeah.
Purge and Hunger Games mixed together. It has the Hunger Games aesthetic where it's like you're kind of like battling for something on this one central location, but then you also have the setup of the Purge where it's like, hey, this is a commentary about the governmental system and the powers that can control the governmental system a little bit. So Exquisite Corpses is, I had it here. Let me see if I can find it. Come on. Yeah, here we go. It's a story that centers on a brutal, secret tradition among America's 13 wealthiest families. Every 5 years on Halloween, these families each select a champion, one of the deadliest killers in the world, and send them into a small, unsuspecting town. Each killer is assigned a unique weapon ranging from guns and swords to poison and even bare hands. The goal for the killers is simple: be the last one standing. The winner's family seizes control of America's shadowy power structure until the next deadly game 5 years later. This year, the battleground is in Maine, where ordinary citizens find themselves caught in the crossfire, forced to survive a night of terror as the killers hunt each other and anyone who gets in their way.
Wow.
So, it
Wow.
is in a. I'm telling you, it's only 2 issues out right now. The second issue came out in June, but if the first issue does not grab you, I don't know what to tell you. It may not be your taste, but the first issue gives you all of that in like 25 pages. So again, you can find it at your local comic book store. You can go to a local library and request it, something like that nature. But I highly recommend Exquisite
Gotcha.
Corpses. So that's my 3 books I recommend for you guys.
Nah, that's legit. I'm definitely gonna check out Red Rising, because I don't read a lot of fiction, and so every now and then I definitely need a break from all of my serious literature. Um, but I also watch so much anime, which usually is my break from my serious literature. Though I definitely am, I'm kind of like slowing down with the anime, so I definitely gotta check out some of that. Let's see if they got it at my library. Mortal Hawk, that is. Yeah,
Hopefully you do. Hopefully you
yeah. Because
do.
Mortal Hawk is a little older, so they probably
Immortal
have it
Hulk as
out in
well.
library.
Malcolm, how about you? What are did?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely have it there. Yeah. Malcolm, your thoughts?
That last one, I have no idea whether or not I would actually enjoy the entire series or story or whatever, but I definitely got my attention. Like that's
Yeah.
different. That's unique. That's sadistic. That's sick. But I'm not
Yeah.
saying I'm for that. But it got my attention. I'll keep
Yeah.
an
That's
eye out
good.
for it.
Keep an eye out for it,
If,
man. Who
if
knows?
it's
I
that
might
deep,
get you
bug
like the
us
first
till we do
volume.
it.
You know, I
Until
might
we
get you
watch
that
it
one.
or read
So
it. Read it, not watch it. But
I'll
yeah,
let, yeah, I'll let you.
yeah.